Welcome to this special edition of Quarantine Conversations. There's no doubt that business leaders everywhere are being stretched in so many different directions, between worrying about your revenue, trying to bring peace of mind to your clients, and holding it together for your internal team. Today we're going to chat with one of my very favorite leaders. Russ Lane is president of Compass Financial Resources. He has a breadth of knowledge in the financial industry, and he also happens to be my dad. I hope you enjoy this episode. All right. Hey, everybody. I'm here with my dad, Russ Lane. Haven't seen you all day. How's it going?
Great.
Yeah?
Good.
Yeah. Happy Monday. Kind of asking him to join me outside. This is in his screen and porch that I've been crashing at for quarantine. And I know he wants to get a workout in later, but really glad and appreciative of taking some time because I really think that you have a lot of wisdom to share with our listeners. You've been president of your company now for lots of years, and you've led your team through several different ups and downs with markets, of course. And now in this, climate that we're in, I'm just curious about some of what you're learning about yourself, how you're navigating it, for your clients and for your team. But first, cheers. This is a white wine, I don't know, maybe a Riesling. And he's been getting more interested in natural wines from your own coach, Machen McDonald. Hi, Machen, if you're listening. And maybe let's just start with that. Who is Machen? And let's start with that.
Well, in 2005, I was at a conference down in Florida, I believe it was Orlando, and Machen McDonald was there, and it was called the One-Page Business Plan. I thought that sounds kind of unique because I'd written many business plans over the years. I've been in the business now, it'll be 34 years. And most of the time when I wrote up the plans, because they'd be 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 pages, after they were done, I never looked at them again. So that didn't work very well. But in fact, it was just one of the tools he used to help people figure out where they were, where they wanted to go. And we started working together in 2005, so it's been 15 years. And I think at the end of the day, my thing on coaching is always, if the best in the world, if Tiger Woods or the greatest tennis player, the greatest players, the greatest athletes in the world still need coaching, what's that say about the rest of us? So I've always felt like if you're serious about your business, you're serious about your life, then potentially if you can or you're in a place that you can, then coaching can make sense. And Machen's helped us grow beyond anything we could have done on our own. And he's also helped us do it, I think, with balance. Because it's one thing to be able to grow and be successful, but it's another way to have a life that supports what's important to you.
Yeah, I know you've shared your 4 pillars with me: faith, family, fitness, and finance. And 15 years is a long time to have a coach. And you guys do quarterly mostly or biannual?
Yeah, for the most part, we work really hard at the end of the year to work on a plan, and really it's still about 1 page by the time we get done, but we work on all those things, the things that are important to me, the 4 F's, and then he holds me accountable, right? So once a quarter, then we talk for a couple hours, and we go through those things, we go through other issues and stuff, and at this point, we're pretty comfortable knowing where we're at, but he's a huge sounding board, because I think a lot of business owners, sometimes you can't bring some of the things that are issues to your people because they're in they're in the trenches, but you need to be able to talk through some things, and that's really what it is. He's not able to say, hey, there's the answer, although he gives me lots of great things to think about, but help me figure out what's the path forward.
Yeah, well, I know that's really been a gift to me as a coach when I wanted to start my practice 4 years ago almost. My 4-year anniversary is coming up in end of the week, the 8th. And you were already on board because you had a coach for so many years already and you understood the value of it. So that's been really great. Do you think that in this, this rapid changing world that we're in and with this crisis that anything about coaching that helped maybe prepare you or is helping kind of, not to have a leading question, but has coaching helped you through this transition?
Yes, Sammy, it has.
How has it helped you?
Well, because as a entrepreneur, business owner, who is the leader of a business, but also leader of my clients, I'm always preaching to them, you need to have a plan. Here's a profound statement. Those people who plan do better than those who don't. How's that? Simple but true, because the clients that we work with right now that have a plan aren't as prone to the panic and the emotional decisions. Why? Because they took the time to think through some of this. We showed our clients many times that markets do and will go down. Yeah. And I was a young advisor in 1987 when the market went down 22% in one day. And as bad as this has been, it's not come close to that. Well, again, I didn't have a whole lot of plans in '87, but today I realize that the clients who have a plan do better than the others that don't have it, because they're just making up as they go. Same thing as a business owner. If I have a plan and I have principles and I have structure in place, when the tough times come, then you're able to look at your plan and say, I want to keep this thing on the rails. I don't want to, I don't want a train wreck. And how is that done? It's by making logical, principle-based decisions that primarily put people first and allow you to see this too shall pass.
Right. Well, it strikes me that you already know your pillars and your values within your business to come back to, and that's one of the things that comes up a lot in coaching when people are making their plan. Is I've got these options in front of me, and how do I know if it fits for me? Well, I set it up to my mirror, I set it up to my plan and say, does it fit? Does that match? Does that work for me? And so here, I'm starting to hate the phrase, but in these unprecedented times, you still have something to come back to and say, does this fit for us? Does this fit our values? Does this fit our integrity, what we're all about, how we want to serve people?
Well, I would push back a little bit, Sammy, is that it's unprecedented in the sense that we haven't had this exactly. Right. But I can assure you, in 1987, when the stock market fell 22% that one day, that was unprecedented. Yeah. In 2000, when the dot-com bubble hit, and then 9/11 compounded it, and you had 3 years. Nobody knew the S&P could be down 3 years in a row. Well, it was. That was unprecedented. Anytime when you're going through the financial crisis, 2000, we had never seen anything like that. So it's always unprecedented. It's always unique when you're going through it. You don't know how it turns out until you get through it. So it is different, but the biggest words that an investor sometimes faces is that this time it's different. And in fact, no, it's different in the sense it's not the same, but the end is different until it's Armageddon, in which it's not going to matter. We get through it, and the key is what are the decisions and the things you did that hopefully didn't lead to either financial ruin or business ruin while you're going through it.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you there. I wonder, what are some of the things that you have done to bring your clients peace of mind, or the ways? So there's two parts. You can start with everyone first, bringing your team some peace of mind with all these changes and having to pivot with the work from home and different things, and also with your clients and all the questions that they might be having.
I think the first thing I would say is that as a financial advisor, business owner, is that the best time, and this is of course has been help, Mach and I talk about. If I can spend 15, 20 minutes just alone at my desk with a pad and a pencil and think, some of the best time I have, because you need to wrap yourself around what is it that you truly believe in. What are those pillars? What are those truths? And everybody's going to be different to that point. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to be financially successful. So what I've learned over my 30 plus years is I'm not a good other advisor. I try to be the very best version of myself. I know what I am. I know who I am. I know what I believe. As I set up with clients, the number one thing that I think they're looking from me is to obtain this we call it financial peace of mind. Well, how do you do that? Well, you have a financial plan. You have sound advice based on knowing the client. I tell them that every time you ask me, my attempt is going to be to give you the unvarnished truth as I know it. And I'm going to let it stand where it is. I mean, that's that truth. You may not like it. You may like it. They need to know where they're at financially. I'm always in the process of losing weight. I don't think I should be this weight, therefore I should be starting from a different point. But the fact of the matter, when I step on that scale, that's where I'm at. At Compass, and we named it Compass for a reason. The Navy SEAL that I got to listen to said, the last thing they do, they give you a compass, they put you out in the middle of nowhere, you got to find your way back. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, compass, you navigate. The first thing you have to do, though, he said, and this hit me hard, you have to figure out where you're at. And most Americans, especially, do not know where they're at financially. And so one of our goals is to let them truly know, where are you at right now? Listen to where do you want to go, and then we can help Compass figure out how and what's the best way to navigate that to get there. And I mean, that in its simplest form, that's really it. And then at that point, as a client begins to engage with you and they become clients, and I've been clients for 30 years, the main goal is to help them get to their destination, not mine. And that the product is not, the products are important, but that's not the value. The value in my mind is having a trust relationship with a person that cares about you, that can help you really obtain what's most important to you. And we hope and we think, based on client input, that's what we do. It's really the same for the business, right? If you've got a business and you've got people, employees, they've got goals and aspirations. What do they want to do? Well, they want to have a stable environment. Trust is where that basis is started. It's the foundation. And then, are we going somewhere that is a place we want to end up? You can be going somewhere really fast and be going the wrong way. And so, to me, with employees and staff and other advisors, to me, a team gives you a sense of satisfaction that you could never, ever obtain doing it by yourself. And maybe it's the old coach in me, but when you see a team working together and pulling together, they can do so much more than you can do, by yourself. And there's also an accountability part, because you may let yourself down. In fact, you will, but very likely, whether it's you or the peer pressure of working with people, or just the fact that you don't want to let others down, there's a great accountability that I've found over the years that I think is important. The other thing is, you get good people together, and it's another set of moral eyes on the situation. Maybe you'd be slipping a little bit, but maybe you've got a partner or another advisor, or whatever, that just kind of keeps you on the right path. And I don't think that's a bad thing. It's hard to do, to hold yourself. Everybody wants to have others accountable, not necessarily want to be held accountable. But again, coaching comes into play, because that's really where I become more accountable, is to Mage when I'm doing the coaching. He's not afraid after 15 years never was, to say, do I know that to be true and what I say? And let's examine that a little bit.
Yeah, I have a really cool viewpoint of watching him lead your clients and your team. We talk, I admire you as a business owner. Of course, I've had numerous questions that he's been able to help me with. But being able to see the way that you play to the strengths of your team, and truly the way it fills you up to coach them in the right places, and then to get to see the whole business succeed. Is there anything that you guys have stopped doing or started doing just in these last couple months to just really cater to the needs that are present?
What's interesting, we actually had a full team retreat, all the advisors, all the staff, in middle of November of 2019. Machen helped lead that. Dave Geenans, who's the economics professor at Benedictine College, also was there with a number of books. Two really world-class leaders, and to have them lead us. And in my mind, and that's kind of what the leader has to do, they have to set the of the sail, right? And I could see there's three areas that we needed help in. One was technology. We are a relationship-driven firm, but we needed to pick up our technology piece. We needed to work on our campus to make it. We've been the same place 14 years. We need to slice it up. And the other thing was systems. You know, we've got a saying that systems work hard for people so people don't have to. But systems are only good as they really are in the sense, how do they work? And are they doing the things that you need them to do? And are people do they buy into it?
Yeah.
So we developed 3 projects in that November, and we had committees putting, you know, the different advisors. And not knowing we were heading into this,
Right.
oh my goodness. I'd hate to have been heading to this without having that, the head start. So, yeah, I mean, we when you can't meet with people, having that technology piece with GoToMeeting and Zoom, I like to say is at times you get to work your muscles, and that helps grow, and that's what we've been doing in the technology piece. Because you know, you got a lot of us are old teacher coaches that not necessarily that's our main thing. What this is going to force us to do and has is we're going to be so much stronger coming out of this. Hopefully we don't lose, and as I'm the leader, we're not going to lose the personal touch, but we're going to be able to be more efficient, you know, be able to spend 20, 30, 40% less time doing things that were not needed to be done because of some of the, you know, the Microsoft, the meeting stuff, the Salesforce, et cetera.
So it totally just fast track that for you.
Yeah. And then, okay, technology, great, but then we have the systems team working on what are the systems, where do we put this stuff, right? Where's it at? How do you find it? How do you make sure it's company-wide in every piece that you're archiving, that you can find it. So we are really trying to set ourselves up for the next, you know, 5, 10, 15 years, that we've had that technology systems foundation, and then our campus looks the part. We want to look really efficient and nice, but we don't want to be ostentatious that it looks like we're somewhere not. You know, we want to make it nice. So in that matter, it's good that we did this because we're needing all that right now to get through this, and we will. You know, we have our staff working from home, most of them, and advisors, and are adapting, and you get a chance to grow.
How do you feel, if you're able to answer, the group as a whole has maybe felt the most pinch in this? Like, what's been the biggest strain, perhaps, for your team?
Yeah. The lack of being able to really connect the way we like to connect with each other and with our clients, right? It's one thing to have that hug and you know, that's what we do a lot of times with our clients. You've been working with them 20, 30 years. You're giving them a hug. These are friends. You know, one of the things I say is not all my friends are clients, but all my clients become friends. And that's, to me, if I could spell out be a good advisor, give the advice that you give to friends. That's the GoToMeeting can't create that. So GoToMeeting's wonderful, Zoom's wonderful. There's a lot of great things about that, but I think we miss that personal touch to be able to, you know, feel that handshake, that hug, to look them in the eye and see them, and if they're feeling good or they're hurting. And same thing on staff and advisors. I mean, we're meant to love and be loved. And sometimes on a digital world, that's a little hard to come through.
Yeah, you guys have really created a culture of humor and joy and connectedness. You know, he works with a lot of family members. My brother, his son works with him. 2 of my uncles, and then just you've had a lot of team members there for a really long time. You guys know each other really well.
Yeah, I mean, you've been working with people, many of them 20 to 30 years. You get to know them pretty well, and excuse me, as the leader, again, I set the sail, but I enjoy having fun. Business and life's too short. Sometimes we enjoy giving each other trouble, and it's not near as fun to do it again
virtually
if you can't do it in person. So that has definitely been one of those things that you know, we just, but we'll get through it.
What's something that maybe you've been really proud of, the way your team has stepped up, or just handled this with grace, or anything come to mind?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest plus of this for us, I think, has been the response to our clients, and our response from our clients has been, you know, number one, it's quite touching that many times they're more worried about us.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing? I mean, oh man, you got all this stuff going on, and how you doing?
They're just seeing the numbers drop and drop.
Yeah, so they're really looking at it from the standpoint of how are you doing, which is again very touching. But secondly, is the response that, oh my gosh, I feel so good because I have a plan. I can't thank you enough. We're okay. We're doing good. Uh, Virtually no calls, few emails, and to know that all that planning we did set the foundation that they can handle this. And again, eventually we reach out to them, and we've got, I've got some correspondence. Communication's important, but a big part of it was that just the planning that we did, the advice that we gave, and I call it intellectual trust, which means they actually trust the advice. We may be trustworthy, we are.
Right, you as a person, but the advice.
Gotta trust the advice.
Yeah.
And why? Because it's my advice. I don't have anything I can prove except, 30 years of my doing this advice business, this is what happens. So it's just really wonderful to see how that's accepted and how important that is to helping them get through this. Mm-hmm. And when they respond with some of the emails and letters and so on, it's, there's definitely emails that have brought tears to my eyes. Sometimes from some of the more, I've got a couple of curmudgeons that you would never expect. And man, they send you the stuff that really sometimes just tug. Oh my gosh. Because it's like you wouldn't expect it from them.
Yeah.
So that's been around. All my advisors have stories of people reaching out and talking to them, telling them, thank goodness we did this planning. Thank goodness we had a plan. Thank goodness we had you coaching us through this. And that is really, there's not much more rewarding than that, is that your advice is being listened to and being followed. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's probably as good a feeling as you can have as an advisor.
Yeah, it totally highlights the team approach, not just for you guys as a team, but the team in the sense of, I'm an individual and I have a financial advisor on my team, and that that you guys do the heavy lifting up front, in the sense that, their discovery process is second to none, and really understanding that where you are and where do you want to go. And so it's not, you didn't have to go backwards. You didn't have to go fill in the gaps and be like, oh, wait, we forgot to ask you this. And actually, how do you feel if this were to happen? Because you already had that foundation really, really solid. And I know that I meet with a lot of financial advisors, and there's a lot of really great ones. And I really think the combination that you guys bring and the individualization that's so important, because truly, like every couple, every family, every individual is unique, and what kind of money they have and what they want to do with it. And you guys ask all those questions up front, so that when this happened, it was all set. It's already there.
That's the thought.
Yeah.
Is that let's know what we have. Why do we own it? And the advice is going to be, no, we don't, because of we aren't proactive to or reactive to things that are around us. We're proactive planners that we've already made the plan to take care of that. Right. And that's better than trying to predict the future.
Yeah.
I'm not, nor I would say anybody is good at telling you this and getting in and out. So we don't do that. We focus on the client. We build a strong plan, and then we communicate it. We measure and monitor it so we can stay on track. And that's what we really build, and that's worked. And it's not right for everybody. There's all different ways to do it. Yeah. But again, that's my philosophy, right? I deeply believe that, and that's what I want to come across to my clients.
And you get to build your business that way.
I call it, hey, if you're going to build your own business, call it utopia. Why don't I just get to work with the people you want, have the people you want that surround you. I'm not real patient with people who don't want my help, don't want to pay me for my help, don't want to listen to my advice. I jokingly say there's only so many rooms on the ark, and you've got a stateroom waiting for you, but you got to want to get on that ark. So the rains are coming, as we just found out. So, we try to have, to me, it's humor plays a part of this, that you do it, but there's some truth to it.
You're allowed to set boundaries in your own business.
Absolutely. I think you as a business owner, any business owner, to me, a great thing is to get to work with the people that you want to work with, that give you joy and give you energy. And life's too short. And same thing with the people working around you. I mean, I need high level, we need A players or players that can become A players. And I need them to be humble, I need them to be hungry, and I need them to be smart. Because I can work with those three things that we can develop the things we need to be, to be a good teammate. It's not just about them, it's not just about me. It's about the team, the strength of the team, and what we deliver. It's always to me about the value you bring to other people. And to the degree you bring it is how you're going to get paid and the worth that you have, and the market will tell you that. So, what value do you bring? What value does your team bring to the team or to the clients? And that's going to be a pretty good indicator of how you do.
Do you want to share with us who's a really good fit to work with you? I know you've gone over how the plan works and the preparation, but you also have that specific expertise with teachers. I don't know if you want to share a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I was a high school teacher for 7 years, high school history teacher, basketball coach. And many of our advisors that have come in through that education funnel. Why? Teachers can communicate. At the end of the day, we have to be able to communicate. We have to be able to teach. Good advisors can teach things that people don't know, and they don't even know they don't know, hopefully in a way that they understand. And so with the workshops and we do and so on, that's always been a good place for us as teachers. So it became natural that we started to work with teachers, and we started our own RIA company, Maritime, that really just educates at the district level. But that becomes a huge funnel because those educators then want to do with their spouse potentially some individual retirement planning. So we can, I have clients that are doctors, construction workers, truck drivers, but we have a lot of just teachers, principals, administrators, classified workers and their spouses because we understand their pension. Sometimes as advisors, we say you're a mile wide and an inch deep. With educators, we're an inch wide and a mile deep. We talk the language. Yeah. And there's something about that. I think if I would say to any of you in the advising world or in even your business, what's your niche? You can be a mass to the masses, an expert, or you can know your niche. Yeah. And I think that is very important. It's been important to us over the years. Yeah. And so I think that would be something that I would definitely look at. We're very, very pleased that we have that.
Yeah, yeah. So a little bit different question before we wrap it up here with a couple of personal questions. But in that thread, thinking about finding a niche and how, for me, for coaching, it's helping those who are anticipating retirement really build that plan for retirement they love. Do you have maybe just a couple words about speaking to how you guys recognize that as a gap for some of your clients and why? So you've got your financial plan, you've got your financial, plan ready to go for retirement. What about this other piece that now we've been able to partner on?
Well, if you're doing holistic planning and you're looking at the whole person, you realize that the old school would be it's all about the investment portfolio. The investment portfolio is important. It's not the plan. And in fact, many times the plan isn't the plan because while a person or a couple may have lots of financial assets and resources, the question in retirement is what are you going to do with them? And a financial plan doesn't necessarily answer that. And so what we began to do as we do our discovery meetings and our wrap-ups and so on is to just simply ask the clients, how do you feel about the next really 20, 30 years? Yeah. I mean, I tell clients you're doing something that has never been done in the history of the world. Yeah. You're retiring at 60 years old. You're financially independent, and you're going to live as long as you worked. Right? That hasn't ever been done. Yeah. I mean, it's just a relatively new thing, primarily in the United States. And so that creates some issues. And so we want their money to support their life, not just their livelihood, and we want it to support them in a way that gives meaning. And so what better way than to flesh out and have them talk with a coach that can help them identify the most important parts of their life that matter to them. And if we can provide the resources and the income and the advice there, then those two, that combination to me just makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Thanks for saying that. So, a couple things just before we go. For you on a personal level, what would you say has been the most difficult thing about quarantine or about, this transition, this crisis?
Just the people that you love, like my mom and dad over in Vintage Park. I've got older parents that, 87 years old, and we haven't been able to give a hug to them for weeks and weeks and weeks. I go over and talk to them through the window, and they're there. And, I know many people obviously have lost parents and grandparents through this crisis and this uh, the virus, and that's a tough thing, especially not to be able to be with them. And so for ours, it's a minor thing, but it's also the idea of being with the grandkids, uh, trips planned.
Yeah.
That said, real history is we this country's been built. One of the books I would suggest everybody read. It's a book called John Adams, and
It's a really big book.
it's a big book, but I couldn't put it down. But John Adams, a lot of people, second president. But in that book, there's a quote by Abigail Adams, uh, probably as famous as he is, and because he had to leave the his kids and the United States for months, and sometimes even a year at a time to go over to Europe and France and England and try to secure funds and secure help, and then come back and then go back and forth. And Abigail wrote him a letter and said, John, future generations will scarcely know or understand the sacrifices we made to be able to give freedom to the people that come behind us. And I think that's true. It's certainly true of the World War II generation. So, this is our time to step up and build our character muscles to be able to do it with a sense of hopefully courage and fortitude and humility and so on. And I hope we have that can-do spirit in America to be able to do that. It seems that we do. I hope we do. But I think that's it. It doesn't mean it's not hard, and we have things that will be difficult. But my 30 years in the business tell me the only time I really grow is when I'm in the valley. When I'm on top of the mountain, I'm the king, everything's good. When I really have to stretch myself and where I really make the changes that are necessary for me to go to the next mountain, it's in the valley. And as a country and an industry and so on right now, this is definitely a valley. So what are we doing about that? We're going to come out of it. Again, I'm big on be of good cheer. This too shall pass. But
in some ways, it's exciting, to think about all the ways we're stretching ourselves right now. That we might not be able to see the growth right now, or even know, all the reps we're putting in, all the ways we're practicing in different ways. But yeah, that we're all collectively growing. So on the flip side, what could you share with us that's maybe been a pleasant surprise or something, happy or joyful about this change?
probably like a lot of people finding out that this time with family and with the people that are very close to you that you're able to see how nice it is to be able to just be able to talk, to be able to read, to be able to pray together more, to be able to appreciate each other, to appreciate the small things that maybe you took for granted. I think there's a lot of nuggets and gold in that, and be able to just appreciate and stop and look, and then on the back side of this, to not take for granted, because we tend to. We're humans, and most of us, I certainly am, that we take that for granted and don't realize how important that is. So, to me, that's one of them. Is just to spend time in those making those deeper relationships a little deeper than you probably went for some time.
Yeah, absolutely. This guy just turned 60 last week, and
I know I barely a day over 59.
right. And it was really special. I know we'd wanted to throw you a big party and have a lot of people there, but obviously it was much smaller. But really, I feel like we milked it for all it was worth. We didn't take that moment for granted and really took the time to celebrate you.
Yeah, my obviously big families. Can be challenges, but the great thing about big families, you got lots of people to love. And my daughter here, Samantha, and my other kids and everything had a great video of all the memories, which was wonderful, and the grandkids. That was a good time. So yeah, sure, we'd have probably had more people, more blowout, but we probably wouldn't have any more fun or any more memories that were made that day. So very nice.
Well, I'll make sure the people know where to find you on your website and your email and such in the show notes. But other than that, any final thoughts for us today?
I would just say again that one of the best business decisions I ever made was working with Mage, and that was 2005. And when I look at whatever money I've spent in coaching, the return has been tenfold. And I think most people would tell you that. Now, you need to find the right coach that works with you, and you need to find a coach that obviously brings out the best. But in any endeavor that's important, good coaching, good advice, good listening, those are crucial skills, and those are crucial people to have in your life, I think, if you want to grow. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing part of your story with us, and just thanks for being a great dad and a great leader. I love you so much, and that's a wrap.
Thank you.
Many people can relate to feeling stuck when you're navigating a huge life change. It can be so discouraging when you're unsure about what next step to take. I'm Samantha Lane, a certified life coach, and I partner one-on-one with men and women to create clearer thinking and more purposeful action. I happen to specialize in those who are anticipating retirement, as that's a transition that's going to impact all areas of your life. If that's you, or if you know someone who's navigating a big life change, I hope you'll sign up for a free strategy session at lumina-coaching.com. Thanks for watching Quarantine Conversations. I hope you enjoyed.